I've been with Stericycle for 5 years, and when my boss called to ask me to come work for them, I actually had to Google what the hell Stericycle was to figure out what I'd be doing. And so, so for many of you, this might be the first time you learned about Stericycle. For the last 4 years, I would say we've been a little busy. Right? We're going to bend the curve for two weeks. Remember that? Bend the curve, and then it turned into 2 years, and then my medical waste business shot through the roof, and then the paper business went the other way because people were working from home. We weren't getting rid of paper, so I had the tale of two cities. I'm furloughing drivers and I'm hiring others. And then I remember talking to Kristen and saying, you know, I think we'll be able to get staff finally and hire drivers. And then I realized everybody was going to get home deliveries. And that changed the market, right? So this has been, and then you couldn't get trucks, and then you couldn't get people, and you couldn't get, it just been, I don't think Harvard Business Review could have come up with a better business case to give to kids in business school to figure out how they want to work your way through this mess. And so that brings us here today. So we're in better shape than we were, I can tell you, 3 years ago when it came to hiring drivers, but there's still challenges. Although the talk that was given at 3 o'clock here today, it appears that a lot of truckers are leaving their own businesses. So it may be we'll get some independent drivers coming our way looking for work. So that's the good news. So a quick agenda. So I started with Stericycle 5 years ago, almost, well, in January. By the way, 35 years Stericycle's been in existence. Today is the birthday of Stericycle. I worked for UPS for 33 years before I came to Stericycle. And so it's been quite a run, to say the least, in the last 5 years. So we'll go over some internal, external recruiting measures, retention best practices, and certainly how safety plays a major role in retention. And I'll show you some numbers at the end where we rolled out a new training program for our drivers, and it's had some significant impacts for turnover, injuries, crashes, and so forth. So this is my team in North America. Dale Rich on the left is, he runs my global incinerators. And so he has incinerators both in the US and in Europe currently. Shelley Schellebarger, she's my executive vice or senior vice president for everything west of the Mississippi. And Gil runs everything east of the Mississippi. And then Kimberly deals with everybody crying east and west of the Mississippi. So that's her job as an HR person. So who are we and what is Stericycle? So founded in 1989, if anybody remembers, we had needles washing up on the shores in the Jersey Shore, which is really where the medical waste business began. And so somebody had an idea that, you know, we should probably not dump them in the ocean anymore, and we should probably clean them before we do it. And so that's how this industry began, and that's how it became regulated over time. There's 13,500 members worldwide, 11 countries currently, 2.7 billion in revenue last year, and we've been publicly traded since 1996 on a NASDAQ. So this is my network in North America, and I didn't show you the Canada, but this is North America. So you'll see on the left, medical waste collection transfer stations, regulated medical waste treatment facilities, shredding facilities, both shredders and balers, and then we have incinerators, we can see predominantly East Coast. The one on the left in Nevada, that'll be coming online towards the end of this year, and that'll be the latest state-of-the-art incinerator, probably the cleanest in the world when we get done with it. So that's coming online towards the end of the year. As I mentioned, 35 years, we have 443 locations worldwide and a fleet of 6,100 vehicles. And we lease the majority of our trucks today. We acquired trucks in the number of acquisitions we did, and then over time those have been moved out, and we lease our fleet currently. So here's our brand story. I just want to play a quick video for everybody.
In the ordinary and extraordinary moments of life, we all need to feel safe, secure, protected. And that's what drives our purpose, to protect your health and well-being in a safe, responsible, and sustainable way. From our beginning to stem the tide of syringes washing up on our shores, to prevent the risk of infection and needle stick injuries, to protect our waterways from pharmaceutical waste, to preserve strong customer and patient relationships, to reduce risk and damage to brands, to avoid losing one more person to the opioid epidemic, Stericycle is here so you can work in a safer environment, live in a healthier community, and enjoy the world around you, knowing your health and well-being are protected. Because we're shaping a healthier and safer world for everyone, everywhere, every day. Stericycle. We protect what matters.
I think that kind of sums up, gives you some idea of what we do for a living. The one thing I would tell you that Stericycle is the industry leader, and the industry comes to us for answers. So if you remember the Ebola outbreak, or maybe you don't, we were the trusted experts in the field to help move that waste. If you remember during the pandemic early on, they had the ships in New York and all that stuff, they called us to go set up and get these places ready to go. We keep our customers compliant. We keep them up to date on the latest industry trends and certainly any regulations that change as time goes on. So it's been a great 35 years and really just a trusted brand in the medical industry. Now, most people go for medical treatments, they don't want to think about where the waste is going. I know I didn't before I got here. So you know, your surgeries and all that stuff that you have going on today, we typically deal with that in the back room. So that's what Stericycle is all about. And you saw the Shred-it driver. We acquired Shred-it about 6 or 7 years ago. It's been a wonderful addition to the business. And it's, you know, people keep saying paper's going away, but I can tell you it's here to stay for a while. So that's the good news about Shred-it. So this is our vision. We protect what matters. You heard it. We protect the health and well-being in a safe, responsible, sustainable way, and shaping a healthier and safer world for everybody, everywhere, every day. So that's our mission when we get up in the morning. So our values, we had revised these, and I think it really does tell a story for our employees. And you'll see later in the training that we give our drivers, we do talk about our values, and we want to make them feel like they're part of something bigger than just driving a truck, and how they fit into our values as a business. So again, we protect the environment, we're customer driven. We commit to safety always. So 5 years ago, when I walked in the door, we couldn't find an insurance company that would insure us for our trucks. So we had to agree with the insurance company that we would put lytics cameras in our trucks, the only way they would insure us going forward. And since then, we're down 41% in crashes, significant rear end reduction crashes, and down more than 41% in total recordable injuries. So we've come a long way in 5 years in reducing injuries, and we still have work to do. But I can tell you that was not something that operators talked about when I got here, and it's something they talk about every day now. So, and that's how you continue to drive our safety numbers down. We embrace diversity and inclusion. I mean, Kristen and team, you'll see they have wonderful relationships with a bunch of organizations that we were able to recruit to have a diverse workforce at Stericycle. We do the right thing. I mean, we're regulated. We deal with a lot of regulations, from DEA to regulated medical waste. We have to do the right thing, and it's really important certainly to the current executive team at Stericycle to be known as a trusted advisor in the market. We united one team, one goal, and we just don't throw that around. We do believe in teamwork at Stericycle, and I mean it takes. I'm not going to say it takes a village, but it takes a village. I mean, we have our regulatory people, we have our experts when it comes to DEA, or we have experts when it comes to, and we have to get all these folks around, and when we develop new procedures and processes that we're going to roll out in the market. So it does take a collective group. We strive for excellence, and it's what I think every company does when they get up in the morning. Just strive to be better than you were the day before. So let's talk about some internal and external recruiting measures. So as I mentioned, diversity partnerships. We have over 103 relationships with different diverse groups that help to bring us candidates. And then certainly with women in trucking, it's a big relationship there. We held 134 on-site events, and I can tell you that, and Kristen would probably attest to this, I think we have pretty good success when we have on-site hiring events. And again, when I first got here, we did not have, this is part of my talent acquisition team in the front. I said, you better come because someone else may not come here and listen to me, so I can at least talk to them. And so we didn't have this group. We used an outside agency. They thought that was going to be a better way to recruit. And my hair was black when I got here, and now it doesn't quite look that way. It wasn't really, but anyway, you get the point. It wasn't working well. We would send people. They would find people. They would send them out for tours and meeting the facility, and then the person wasn't there, and they missed the person, and the person would fall out, and it was just a mess. And so bringing it back in-house has really helped us to get staffed and get closer to staffed as we were then. Referrals. We have 850 referrals from our employees at Stericycle. I've paid out over $600,000 in monies to our employees that have brought us referrals. And referrals, they stay longer. Right? It didn't cost me anything to advertise. I paid my employee a bonus for bringing them, and they typically stay longer than a person hired off the street. So it's a win-win when we get our employees involved in bringing us referrals. LinkedIn and Indeed, these are our main sources of advertising, certainly Indeed, with 1,251 candidates there. And then we use Snapchat, Meetup, and anything else. We hand out flyers at stores. I mean, it's on the ground trying to find people to come work for us. So, and it's not a name. It's not like a UPS that people would say, hey, I want to go work for UPS. Hey, you want to come work for Stericycle? The hell is that? I mean, so we have to get over that hump as to what we do to get people to come through the door for sure. So I mentioned when I first got here, we had an outside group, temp agency that was staffing us. And so there was operator involvement, there was interviews going on, there were facility tours that just delayed the onboarding of a new employee. So the talent acquisition team now is the selection criteria. They pick the people that are going to work for us. Operators have no involvement that the person walks through the door. Now, you can imagine that went over like, I don't know, think of something that you've heard in your lifetime. It didn't go over well with the operators. They weren't going to be involved in the decision making. But it's quicker. We get people through the door quicker. We get people to stay with us longer. And then we stay out of trouble by people asking the wrong questions when you have candidates coming through the door. So we want to streamline that process, and we're getting people through the door much quicker by the talent acquisition team doing their job. And I can tell you the operators and talent acquisition work really well together as a partnership. And then certainly overall, the interview questions and what we ask people, real life safety questions and things like that to try to ensure we're bringing the right people with the right mindset through the front door. Let's talk about some best practices. So this, I would tell you, this retention strategy is more than just for drivers. This is for management people. This is for development. So the concept of Stericycle is to hire to retire. We want you to stay with us. We've developed programs to give people an option. We've given them the opportunity to use tuition reimbursement to upgrade their licenses. So if they come in with a non-CDL, we'll help them get a CDL. If they come in with a CDL but they want to go get a Class A license, we help them with that as well. So we want them to continue to stay with us long term. So we have not only people that we bring in as plant workers that end up being team leads and supervisors. We want to continue to push. We give them, there's ways that even a plant worker that may not want to go into management someday can move from certification to certification and continue to build on their salary as they continue on with Stericycle through their career. So certainly evaluating leadership competencies, we went through all of them to make sure that people are in the right spots, that the competencies make sense in the jobs that they're in. Elevate employee engagement. I'll just focus on this one for now. You can see the rest of the slide. I think we do an engagement survey every 2 years, and it really does give you quite a bit of information. And so it helps us, it guides us as to where we need to go make plant visits and tours, visit facilities, talk to people that are not feeling that engaged. You find leadership issues, you find training issues, you find things we can go fix to make it better for our employees. And that's really what that engagement score is all about. We asked our team to develop action plans for the year so that we know that they're going to review the results, meet with our people, find out why they feel the way they do, and then put steps in place to make it better for them. And so this engagement survey, I use it extensively to figure out where I'm going to send my HR team, where I think I have problems, because the quicker I can get out there, the less complaints I have, the less OSHA visits I have, the less outside agencies coming in to help me get things better. So it gives us really a line of sight as to where we have to go and address issues in our operations. So certainly pay. We do what they call LMAs, local market rate adjustments. We take a look at the salaries in areas where we can't staff, where we have recs that have been open for a month, 2, 3, sometimes longer, trying to get people through the door. So we do all we can, right? We stay bonuses, hiring bonuses, advertisements, in-house hiring events. And when that all fails, we go back and look at the local market rate, and we make adjustments when we have to. This year, we're looking at we're going to look instead of this whack-a-mole I've been doing for 5 years, right? We have a problem here, we have a problem here, we have a problem in this market. We're going to look system-wide to make sure that we are in the range we should be in an effort to bring people through the front door. But pay has been quite an issue over the last 4 years. I mean, if you were here for the 3 o'clock meeting, you saw the demand in drivers went through the roof, and people were paying ridiculous amounts of money to bring people through. So that seems to have subsided to some degree, but there's still demand in certain markets that, you know, bigger demand that we still need to address. But pay has been a big issue. And certainly recognition. You know, patting somebody on the back, tell them they did a good job, that doesn't cost me a thing, and we don't do enough of it. You know, when I started with UPS, I remember the first person that trained me said, okay, you're going to have a list of people you have to talk to in the morning. For every person that did something wrong, you have to talk to 2 people that did something right. Right? So it made you stop and think, okay, now I have to, hey, you did a nice job polishing your shoes. I mean, sometimes they really had to figure how to think about what I was going to recognize somebody for, but it really did make you think about, hey, it's not always doom and gloom. You need to go out to your people and talk to them. And then we have mid-year reviews, annual reviews certainly, and then career milestones we acknowledge as we go through the year with all of our employees. So training and engagement, I think you'll see on a couple slides coming up. When I first got here, we had team leads training our drivers. So I asked who taught the team leads? Nobody. So the team leads typically came to work, did a good job, brought the route in about the time we thought they should, didn't have a lot of injuries and crashes, so they just became trainers. Some cases that was the opposite. People that probably shouldn't be training people were doing that too. So we've transitioned to transportation supervisors doing the training of our new employees. And so we developed a frontline leadership school that we run in Dallas. It's a week-long class that we put all of our frontline transportation supervisors through now. And so it teaches them how to have difficult conversations, how to hold somebody accountable, how to recognize people. It teaches them all of our safety methods and really all the methods that we want them to go out and teach our new employees. So we're training the supervisors to train the drivers, and we're seeing a benefit certainly as we go through this year and beyond. We can't do enough training, quite frankly. But that program, terrific reviews. I mean, a lot of the students that are there say it's the first training class some formalized training class they've ever been to as a management person. So it's really going well. So this is right out of our training guide that we review with our new drivers as they come through the door. So we talk about innovation and what we do as a business. We talk about protecting the world. We talk about compliance, and we talk about engagement. I mean, we want our employees to feel like they're part of this. They're part of our living our values. They're part of our DNA. It's not just you driving a truck and not just picking up a pail of waste. You know, you have a bigger role to play here in this market. So this is what we review when they first come through the door. So this is our 30-day plan for drivers. So the manager prepares for the new employee. So it's not a scrambling the day they're showing up. We give them a 30-day packet that has everything they need to onboard a new driver. So it's all the paperwork. It's reviewed every single day for the first 30 days, working days. It's got all the forms they have to fill out. It's got the certifications they have to fill out. It's a one-stop shop for everything you need for a new employee. And so you'll see in a couple slides here some of the results we got from the 30-day packet. Was really, really impressive, and we continue to drive it. And so the more our supervisors are trained to work the book, we're seeing that the retention rates are better, our safety numbers are better in our drivers in their first year of Stericycle. So it's really paying dividends by having a standardized onboarding approach. And you can see what each day, the 3 to 10 or the 11 to 29, and certainly at the end, the manager rides with the new employee to certify them and sign off on the book that they should be a long-term Stericycle employee. So here's our attrition rates from 2022 in North America alone. We're at 42.2. We're down to 36.8 after the first year. And then you can see the injuries or the crashes down below. These are numbers of our first-year employees. And so the first-year employees went from 48% of the injuries down to 38.6% by the end of the year. So, and we continue to drive these training packets, and we're going to continue to see improved results as we go forward. So questions for the room? No? Yeah. It was probably January, February of 2023. And so we prepared it as we went through the end of 2022. And so it was really, I would say, 100% in the field for the lion's share of 2023. So we should continue to see the benefits of that packet. But again, having a trained workforce as they walk in the door, we had people training people that weren't trained, which didn't make a lot of sense to me. And so probably why we couldn't get an insurance company to insure us our truck, I would think. Anybody else? Yeah. What was the question? Absolutely. Absolutely. Correct. Yes. Yes. 100%. Yep. Anybody else? Yeah. I'm going to have to come down there. It's the operators themselves. It's the operators themselves. So the transportation supervisor fills the book out and the packet with the new employee, and the manager certifies it and looks at it every 10 days. So they're holding themselves accountable. And then when my HR folks are out in the field, they're looking at the books to make sure they're being completed as well. So, yeah. Those are all our new hires. All first-year employees is what that is. Well, to your point, we saw increases in the 2 to 5, because they weren't trained. So we do an annual ride with every employee, every driver, and so we do a safety, both a driving assessment and a safe work assessment.
But you don't have specific numbers that
For the rest of them, I do not. But the 2 to 3 had increased year over year. The first year dropped.
So if you were seeing more trouble with the 2 to 5 year, did you put them back for retraining?
Exactly. Well, there wasn't a process of certifying every year. There is now. So every employee is certified every year, and if they have a crash or an injury, they're certified the next day before they go out driving by themselves. It's an in-house developed. It was probably, have you heard of the Smith system? So similar to the Smith system. So it's SWAT, steer, watch, anticipate, and take action. And we go through each one of those individually with the employees, getting them to, keep your eyes ahead. So it goes through, it's a pretty extensive form that they fill out. Meaning, we do it's only after a crash. Yeah, right. So if we know about it, we would ride with the driver. In some cases, we don't know. Right. Correct. Correct. We do. Yep. Yep. Right. No. 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 And so again, we have geotablytics that gives us an awful lot of information on our drivers, right? So, which we didn't have when I got there. We have it today. Yeah. Yep. You're welcome. Anybody else? So if you have any referrals, I'll pay you to give me some referrals. You can bring it over here to these guys here. Everything's open, fair game. But the yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody attending. If you have any other questions, feel free. I'll be up here for a few minutes after the after review.